welcome into Rock Painting 101. Spoiler alert, some of you guys are not ready for Christmassy stuff, and that's totally fine and acceptable. But today this is going to be a slightly Christmassy rock. Last week we did this fun pumpkin unicorn, and I have a Christmassy version that I'm working on today, just to give you a little sneak peek, something kind of along these lines. There's my little rough sketch for it. So if you're not ready for Christmas, that's fine. You can hit the little arrow in the upper right hand corner, or I think it might be, or maybe it's 3 dots if you're watching right now, and go ahead and hit like save it for later, save it for when you're ready. No judging. I just kind of liked this idea, and so I knew if I didn't do it now, I would push it off to the side and I might possibly forget to do it. And I kind of teased it by showing it in the video last week, so I figured I ought to follow through and share the idea. Now I've got kind of a smaller rock than I was expecting to have, but that's okay. This will work okay. It will actually probably end up being opposite, so I have more room for my hat. I'm just blocking out my unicorn face. I like to do my white first in case it needs a second coat. I'm just putting down my basic shapes right now. I'll go back in with lining and more layers of color once we're all said and done, to kind of finalize everything, but I just kind of want an idea of where everything's going to go. So I am going to have the horn here. It's going to kind of bunch up right next to it there. Put our little hat on here, and the hat's going to kind of come up, and then it's going to kind of flop down, and we will make it flop really well with some lines. Right now it just kind of looks like a blob, I know, but I promise we'll get there before it's all said and done. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in red. Now the red fills in really nice on these light rocks. If you're working on a base coated rock or a darker rock, you might need a second coat. There we go. And there's our little hat, like so. We're going to put our horn in here. I do have my glittery, shimmery pens here that I'm going to be working with a little bit. Now the horn is going to go right up the center. This unicorn's looking dead straight on, so just kind of find the center of your face here, and we're going to put it right up on top. And we can have the hat kind of flopping in front of it just a little bit. I'll add my details later to the horn, so don't worry about that. I just love how these glitter pens shimmer. Kind of hard to tell, I think, on the video, but there you can see a little bit of the shine. But we're just going to go ahead and get that coat on there for now. And I'm not going to go over here because that's where the puffy part of the hat. I'm going to have that little like fluffy rim to the hat. Now let's add some hair. For my unicorn hair, I'm going to go with pinks and greens. So I'll do the green in the center and a pink on each side. So to give a nice little flip of the hair, I always give myself some place to aim for, and we're gonna droop down and back up, and we're gonna come right here underneath our horn. And it's okay if you pull a little bit of white, it's not gonna hurt anything. But we're gonna add our nice little swoop of fun sparkly hair. Very good. My darker pink here. Oop, I got a little green in there. I don't want to pull that green. I got a little pink onto my green too, so I'll fix that once the green's dry. Now sometimes with these glitter colors, as you can see that spot where the white is underneath there? So we're gonna need a second coat. Just something to keep an eye on so you can remember when it's all said and done to get back in there and add a bit more. Lighter pink down here on the bottom. And you'll see how much more it will pop on this white. And I guess I could have done white underneath my entire hair flip too. That's another route you can take. we're just gonna get that filled in, and then we'll just do a second coat here. We've got plenty of things to kind of bounce around and do on our unicorn. I'm gonna set these right here so I don't forget. All right, so now we've kind of got everything near its place. So I'm gonna go on here. I'm gonna add a second coat of my white here. When you do a second coat, use a light touch. You don't wanna press too hard and disturb the coat below it, especially if you're like me and you're not waiting a really long time in between coats. I'm also gonna add my little ball at the end of my hat here. And then I'm gonna go along here and I'm gonna do a fuzzy kind of hat. So instead of going back and forth, I'm gonna kind of dab so that it's not an even line, because it's not gonna really look even. And we'll add a little bit more texture when we go in with our black lining as well. Ooh, it looks like I pulled up a little bit of that red. Get a little pink in there. We'll fix that. We'll do another layer. Okay, so we've got that on there. All right, let's add, the first thing I want to do, instead of doing the classic lines, I'm going to do them, but my son actually gave me this idea to add a string of lights that goes around. And I guess most strings are green, but I'm going to go ahead and just use black for my string of lights. And it's also going to create that spiral look around my unicorn horn. So I'm going to draw it on there almost the same way. We will get the tip on here. Now I'm going to loosely go outside. Let me see if I can pull this up a little closer. A little outside of the unicorn horn, so it looks like it's wrapping around, like so. And then I'm going to have it twist back the other way around. Do you see how I did that? And then we're going to have it come, we're just going to have it line up where these spirals would be. So we're going to have it come back around the outside edge. And again, I'm going to try to get nice and close here. Just that little bit of distance makes it look as if something's wrapping around. And come down again. And then have that swirl around this corner like that. We'll add in this line here. And the other one would come from behind the hat, so we're just gonna fudge where we think it would pop out, like so. Add the rest of this line here. And we maybe would, I don't know, what do you think? Maybe one more would kind of pop out here, and then it would kind of disappear behind the hair. Now while I'm here, I do want to do a second layer on that hair, so I'm not going to touch it right now. So we've got our little wrapping around our horn. And we're going to add some lights to that in a moment. But I want to go ahead and get these second layers going on things so they have time to dry before you need to line. So I'm going to go ahead and get my hair. Second coat. Like that. There we go. And we'll get the light pink. All right, there we go. So that can start drying. And I'm also going to do my dabs on my, oh, this is a big one. I don't want that big of a, I'm going to do my dabs on my hat here one more time because I kind of pulled a bit of red in there. I don't want it to be pink. I want it to be white. So again, I'm just kind of dabbing to give that fluffy look. And when I do my lining, it will definitely look nice and fluffy too, because I can add some texture with that as well. All right. There we go. All right, now that that's drying, we'll go back and work on our lights a little bit more. I'm just going to take the black and line where some of my Christmas lights would be. Now, the main thing is you can go right over the top of the black with your color. So don't worry about the thickness of your line. Just worry about where your outline's going to end up so that because your color is going to go right inside. So I'm just going to make little ovals on here like so. I'm going to do a couple along the outside edges because those ones will stick out the most. The part that's wrapping around like that. And we'll do one couple of them up here. See, like that one's completely filled in, but that's okay. We're gonna go in with our nice little fine tips. We're gonna do a couple on the string part that's on here. Space them out a little bit, like that. Once we add our color in there, it's gonna make a huge difference. So we're gonna let those dry. I'm gonna go ahead and start lining some of the other parts of the unicorn while that's drying. So let's start here with our hair. A nice little point in between our layers of color. And it's disappearing behind that hat. Like so. Go down and around her face. And I'm just going to stop here because that's about where our hat fluff is going to come. And that should be pretty dry, but we're going to do the outline of the red first, just to give it one more second here. Let's get the outer edge of our hat going. Like that. All right, now we can start adding in that fluff. So again, you want to give it some texture, so just take your black and kind of fluff along the edge, little arching motion, just so that it keeps that fluffy look to it, like a Santa hat would have. Same with along the bottom here. Like so. Okay, now to get our hat the way we want it, we're gonna have the hat come up. It's almost like it's resting on its ear. Oh, we forgot our ear over here. Let's sneak that in here real quick. Oh my, I can't believe I forgot my other ear. So we'll color that in a second. So we're gonna pretend like this is hanging off that side. So you wanna have the hat come up a little ways first. So you're gonna go into your red a little bit, and then you're gonna create a Y shape that kind of creates that bunching and that fold. And see how it instantly makes that hat fold over, and then you can have that long, skinny, flopping part down, just like that. Okay, I'm gonna color in this ear. I'll have to fix that light in a little bit. Okay, so let's add some twinkles to our lights. I know some of these are hanging off a little bit. My extra fine tip is getting a little worn down. So I am going to use my little micron pen to attach my lights to my string. Any of them that aren't attached. There we go. Now let's go in and add some colors. So let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 lights it looks like. So probably only going to get about 2 for each color here. This one down here I'll probably do red, yellow. I have to fix the outline on that. And I cannot find my small red right now. So we're just going to use the bigger one and we'll fix the outline. If I need to. There we go. How cute does that look? These little lights hanging around. So we'll fix that outline. Let's go ahead and add on our face while we're waiting for things to dry up a little bit. So we've got our 2 little nostrils down here. 1, 2, and round that up a little bit better. And I always flip mine upside down for my eyes. And I always use the inside edge to match the dot for its nose. Helps me kind of space them and do them evenly. And you can add on a couple eyelashes if you like, or you can go all the way around the lids if you want to. There we go. I still see a little bit of a hint of pink in that, which is kind of driving me nuts. So we're going to go ahead and dab a few more times on there to get that pink out of there. Just be careful not to hit my outline. Although if I do, I can always touch that up. There we go. I almost feel like it's missing something. Fix the outline of these lights and think about that for a moment. Almost like there could be some more hair poking out over here maybe. For now, I'm just going to fix these. It's almost like he's got too much forehead going on. So maybe we'll add another swoop of hair. Maybe one more little green swoop of hair going the other direction that's poking out. I don't know. Maybe the hat. I think I'm going to make my hat come down a little further. Oh, that would be some work, right? Have the hat come down just a little bit further. All right, well, if you want to stick around for that, I'm going to continue to do that. You've got the general idea of this guy, but I will stay on so you guys can see me fix a fairly large mistake. I just feel like I've got too much forehead here, so we're going to go ahead and move our hat edge down. So this is also one of the benefits to these pens. I can go right in here and get started on this. So guys, if you stick around, stick around. If not, I hope you give it a try anyways. I'm sure you can get to this point. I will share a picture in the comments of it finished. So you can always come back and see the quick change to it. But sometimes you just have to make some adjustments, right? So I'm going to have this hat come all the way down. Some of this is still a little bit wet. It's okay, we're going to do 2 coats, but this way I can kind of visually see if this was my problem. We're going to go just like that. Oh, that's so much better already. Ah, okay. Now I'm not freaking out because it looks better already. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna bring that hat down just a little bit further. Gonna take a couple coats, so that's gonna have to dry in between. But that's okay, because I'm already loving that so much better already. All right, so come back in here with my big wipe here and really get this fluffed up. Like that. All right. Don't you love when you go to fix something and it doesn't ruin it? That would have been great to have happen while I'm recording for you guys. I think this white needs to come off to the side just a tad bit more here. All right. So this has got to dry a little bit here. We'll get a second coat of red on there. I'm going to start my outline of my fuzzy on this side. Maybe not. Maybe that's still a little wet. Like so. Oh, that looks so much better. Okay. If you're wondering, I'm just wiping my tip off because I'm pulling up a little bit of paint because I'm being impatient, not waiting for it to fully dry in between here. The red I'm going to have to wait because there is some black mixed in with that from that other outline. So I'm going to set this here, let it dry, and then I'll come right back with you. All right, I think we've probably dried enough here. Just going to go in. And again, if you're slightly impatient, I did not wait that long. Probably not long enough. Light touch. And it might need one more little touch up. That's all said and done. I just want you guys to see her finished, and that's so much better. There we go. So I hope you give this unicorn a try. Again, if you didn't see the one last week, we had our pumpkin unicorn, and now we've got our Christmassy unicorn. So if you're doing these tutorials, come back, share them in the comments. I love seeing your guys' renditions of the tutorials, and we'll be back later with another tutorial this week. So thanks for the follows. Thank you for sharing, everybody, in the likes and the hearts. It's very motivating to keep me going. So everybody have a wonderful day. Bye.